This is my island in the sun, where my people has stored since time begun. I may sail on many seas, the shore will always be whole to me. Oh, island in the sun, gave to me by my father's hand. All my days I will stay.
All right, the name of the book is Hidden So Deep. Its author, Stone Spicer, joins us here on Author's Corner on America Tonight with me, Kate Delaney. And I love this book. You know why? You know how much I love Hawaii. Then you throw mystery, intrigue, a little bit of crazy in it, and you are going to be hooked too as well. Stone, thanks so much for coming on.
Oh, it's my pleasure, Kate. Anytime I can talk about Hawaii, it's just, I'm in heaven.
I agree with you, and I think we should tell that. I think we should tell that story because you lived in Hawaii, and it's interesting because you went to school in Hawaii. So tell us about that. Tell us about your love for the islands and how that all happened.
Well, I ran away from home literally when I was 17, and I was living in Australia, and of course, Hawaii is very close to Australia in direct line, so that's where I ended up. And one of the things my father asked me to do, he said, if you're going to leave, please go to university. So I went to University of Hawaii, and that's 70-some-odd years ago.
Yeah, and it's interesting, too, because you had a wonderful wife from everything that you've told me in our great off-air conversation, and you met her through the university, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. As a matter of fact, the very first day of classes, English 101, matter of fact, I walked in, and there was this very stunningly beautiful Hawaiian woman sitting there. And 3 years later, she's my wife.
Yeah,
5 years later, we're starting to produce little ones.
I love that story. So you decide to write this book, and you've written other books. What is Hidden So Deep about? Tell us about your main characters and the gist of the story.
Well, the main character is Viane, a young woman, graduated from university. She's a geologist, born and raised in a big island of Hawaii, and she's just got natural curiosity to explore. And she ends up exploring on Mauna Loa, drops down into a lava tube to explore the olivine in the walls of the lava, and her rope breaks, and she lands on a shelf a long ways down in the tube. And that starts the hunt, because her dear friends on Oahu get a call from Viane's father saying that she's lost. All they can find is a truck that's been hot-wired, and so the hunt begins. And from there, we kind of morph into a lot of... I try to bring in as many places in the islands that I can that have disappeared, just vaporized under mountains of lava or bulldozers. And I try to recreate these spots so that people unfamiliar with the islands can relive something that's no longer there. They eventually do find her under the rumbling of an earthquake that's slowly drifting her towards the edge of a fall-off within this cave. So, yeah, it ends well. I don't like sad endings. I never write a story that has a sad end. I don't know how to do that. I don't enjoy sad endings. So all of my novels have an upbeat to it, an uplift.
Yeah, and this one, I love the title, Hidden So Deep, because that makes sense because of what you're talking about, the lava tube, what happens to her. She all of a sudden feels like this earthquake roll across the big island, and it pushes her to the brink of maybe death. And so there really is, in this book, there is the kind of thriller mystery and I said intrigue at the beginning, and I would say the same thing, after going through this journey with her. What do you hope people take away from reading your novel?
a good feeling, Kate. That's predominantly why I guess I don't like I don't like sad endings. I like happy endings. If a reader reads through this book and puts it down and says, yeah, that was a good story, I like that. But they get a little quirk of mystery and intrigue and a little heartbeat running while they're trying to search and find Viane, find the woman. So when they put the book down, I want them to feel good and feel that they was worth reading. And learn a little bit about the islands, like you say, about places that are gone, that they will never see, that I know so well, that I knew was there. So, and that's the case in this book. There's a couple places. A Queen's Bath, it was up on Kilauea, that's gone now. A Halanui, which is a warm pond that just recently got overflowed with lava and disappeared forever. So there's a lot of just absolutely stunning places that used to be that are no longer. Visitors to the island now will never see them.
Yeah,
So,
what lava gives, it takes away too. And you see the show, but then there are the other things that happen when to obviously some of these sites that you're talking about. What's next as far as writing more novels for you?
Well, I'm taking a different twist, Kate. There was an incident when I was a young kid living in Australia. I try to write stories that start with something that I know, some happening in my life. And there was a small incident in Melbourne, Australia, before I left home. And I'm creating kind of an intrigue mystery around that, as somebody hunts down somebody that offended him. So it's a challenge because I'm trying to create a character that has bad intentions, and I'm having a ball trying to figure out how to do that because that's not how I feel. That's not my emotion, but it's an exercise for me, and I think it's going to be quite an incredible story.
For you,
so find out. Veiled intent. I'm sorry?
That's good. Veiled intent. So for you, you go from English 101 to becoming a novelist. Did you ever think that was going to happen?
No, I did not. I became a marketing person. I sold printing. I had the best territory in the world, Kate. I had Waikiki was my territory for 30 years. And I roamed the streets of Waikiki every day for 30 years, and it was wonderful. No idea in mind of ever writing a story, but my two buddies, the three musketeers, we got into a lot of fun, a lot of mischief, so to speak, as adults. And I started to write these stories down so I'd always remember them. Then I thought, well, I can't do that because then somebody else reads them. They're going to know us. And so it just slowly morphed into being a story unrelated to my friends or what had happened. So that started my career in writing.
And there you go. And now look, all these years later, I want to tell everybody that, of course, they can get your book, Hidden So Deep, Stone Spicer. You can get it on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, wherever great books are sold. You can also go to PageTurner.us. They've got a bookstore there, too, that carries it. I'd be remiss not to ask you this, especially since I've had the pleasure of being to many of the islands in Hawaii. What would you say if somebody's going there for the first time, they're listening, they're saving their pennies? Because I know people do that. Like, that's their big dream. You lived their big dream by, like you said, walking the streets. I mean, it was every day for you. But somebody finally gets that chance to go. What would you say is a don't miss this?
You know, as much as I hate to see the change that has happened, Hawaii really is Waikiki as far as the tourist is concerned. And I think anybody going there has to go to the island of Oahu and see what Waikiki is, envision what it might have been once upon a time. But it's a central spot to start there. And then I would suggest heading for the Big Island because it's the most intriguing of all the islands. There's so much there that is still wide open, untraveled. So, yeah, hit Waikiki first. Get it, see it, understand it, and then find another pleasurable spot to roost down and stay for a while.
All right, you would know. That's great advice. Stone Spencer, thank you so much.
Thank you, Kate. I really appreciated talking to you.